Hello, Jeremy. Nice to meet you in cyberspace. This will be some video feedback for Milestone 1. Look, I hope you're doing well, and let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to text or email me. I post my number, elsewhere, and feel free to call me too if you have any questions. Jeremy, I see that you've nicely organized your zip file, and you've got your photos, some of which have been, well, I guess were filtered in week 2. There you go. Nice. Nice job. And you've got your mask as well as your progress, a record of your process. Great job. So I'm going to open these up now. Be aware of what happens, and I'm going to finish with a comprehensive sort of design critique, I guess. But for now, I'm just going to go over some of your ingredients. And when I open up the magazine, this is somebody else's, it's going to prompt me for some of those linked files. And good on you for actually placing them there. So I'm going to flip through this because it's going to take a bit of time. Just ignore them, but to come to the root Illustrator file, and without the distractions maybe of the images, just to see if you've got layers. You do. Now know that you can actually embed photos in an Illustrator file, so you don't have to link. And going to a service bureau like Kinko's, or to say print these out or to get a proof of them, you would need to bring those high-res files with you, just as you've done here. So I'm glad you're aware of that. That's excellent understanding of the process. And you've got things on their own layers. Again, just know that you can embed them here without having to link them. From this, Jeremy, I see too that you've been able to import the vector-based logo, and you've kept the lockup, that is the logo with the type, in the same relationship as is on the style guide. It's clear to me that you are using the palette from the style guide, the amethyst and this turquoise color, and you're using Arial. Arial is a homely font, I think, and very hard to make elegant. I would avoid lines this length and perhaps lead them out a little bit. It's a little dense to read. Just a suggestion. Think about what you want them to see first, second, and third. Now that's just the typographic. Here is the composite of that you posted. Me zoom out. Very nice. I like the diagonal, and that it actually tapers a little bit. Maybe make this also diagonal, and to keep up reflect the angles in the burning coals. This would be a nice place to have a feathered silhouette. I don't know how you could do that. I mean, it's possible. These crystal-like motifs, why not just take one of the vector portions out of the logo and maybe use that as a motif? Or is that what you've done? Yeah, it's the same idea. Be very generous with your margins. Remember, this is a trimmed publication. Some amount of it is probably their tolerances aren't that great. So be careful about running type so close to the edge. This hairline, white hairline, for example, that's real iffy. And just in general, I'm glad that you pretty much stayed to one way of aligning type, that is flush left. It's sometimes awkward to have something centered over something flush left. And then, I think about ways of simplifying your type. It's not that complicated. If you do use a string of caps, letter space them or track them out a little bit. It'll make them easier to read and give them a little more presence, I guess. And good job, though. I like that you created this, or you have the potential to create this simple funnel shape that dominates the page. Will draw the eye in, and that's part of visual hierarchy. Is you want to first attract the eye, and making large shapes on the field or the page goes a long ways in doing that. Jeremy, this is really nicely prepared PDF and with ample screenshots of your process. Yeah, that's, it's certainly adequate. For your own benefit, you might consider annotating it. Used, Arial 12 on 14, and then if that looks too big or too small, you can adjust it from there. So, but good going. I think overall you've pulled a lot of ingredients together. It's just a question of maybe refining them. I would suggest, hey, here's something you could do. See how nice. I don't mind this white border. You could bleed this or this ragged edge. It's to me it's very contemporary as a detail. If the page were, say, to trim right down here. So here's one way of making kind of a dynamic composition that isn't contained within a border, but also respects the trim of the edge of the page. And and it also, we've got these angles going on here. So maybe just little imperfections like that where the photos don't actually line up, you could follow through with. And perhaps here too, maybe make this an irregular box rather than a strict rectangle. All right, I'll probably leave off here. Good going, and don't hesitate to text or email if you have any questions.